Good afternoon, all. It's Wednesday, and I just thought, giving it a few days would kind of help with us being able to discuss content for the last couple of days. Um, I guess I'm gonna start with the mic drop from Shart today and move backwards. I'm not gonna lie, I tend to stay in Cat's chat and watch it just because I like the dialogue, I like the content. But guys, there was a point I'm literally on the edge of my seat and I am spazzing. I'm like, oh, no! I'm like, you're gonna tick him off and he's gonna blurt something crazy and everybody gonna be looking like, what the fudge? But it was very interesting. I think the most interesting cross today was Doug, because it was literally like 10 minutes. And I think it was just kind of reiterating. I get that you made some decisions when you were younger, when you were 23 years old, and you put a lot of blame on people that you knew, because in all reality, Woody could have just pulled up at the gas station, happened by happenstance, see Yak coming out, chit chat with him for a minute, and through the window, and then Yak get in the car, he go his way, and then Woody go his way. And then some stuff pop off, and then later when he's trying to get the blame off of him, well, hey, it was Yak, because he saw Yak. And if you look at it from that perspective, I felt like Doug Weinstein was acknowledging, I get that you were young. I get that you may have made some decisions. I get that you may have included my client in these decisions. I understand that. But today, now, this is you telling the truth. It's like, yeah. Short, cut, concise, to the point. Didn't take a whole lot of extra. And Doug ain't really extra. But, it is what it is. You can see everybody's defense style is a little bit different, but effective. Carrington Matthews, cut, concise, to the point. What this picture got to do with anything YSL related? You see anybody advertising YSL? Is YSL inscribed, as the judge would say? Then they're just bringing it in to bring it in. Just a bunch of knuckleheads making stupid decisions, but they decided to put it all in the RICO so they could try it all on the same level. Put a bow on it and say, here, everybody's guilty, and that's not at all what it is. Some of them happen to be aspiring rappers on a label that grew up in similar areas, that's from the same town, that was willing to give them a chance where they couldn't actually go to Interscope and get that same opportunity, but Doug was willing to grant that opportunity, or Lil Jeff was willing to give them that opportunity because he knew what they came from. It looks different when someone who literally has to share McDonald's meals for $3 with somebody who understands where you're coming from, when you may have to share McDonald's meals, $3 worth of McDonald's meals with somebody, and now they got it and they're willing to give you an opportunity, versus a big label rep at Interscope or Bad Boy who don't really care what you're going through and what you've been through, and it's not as willing to give you an opportunity. But he was trying to pay it forward. Look what he got him. Again, that was just them two. Shart was pushing the envelope. And again, I think he was trying to set the stage for how he wanted to end it with the Jay-Z mic drop at the end in Madison Square Garden. But I'm not going to lie, he had everybody on the edge of his seats. He did get Copeland to admit to a lot that he absolutely wouldn't admit to the stage from. And I think it was the way that they treated him. They treated him with the respect of knowing, we get that you were lying. We understand that. We just need to break down the lies so that the jurors get the full picture, so that the jurors fully understand each individual lie and what it entailed and how it affected different people. You didn't care who it affected at the time because you were just lying. But this is going to be the breakdown of it and who was included. And I think he got that point across very well. And I think Woody's silence spoke volumes. Even in his silence, it spoke volumes for kind of where his head was at and what would have been the purpose, you know? There was moments when I felt like he was sniffling a little bit, like he was trying to keep his emotions in and try his hardest not to react. Because I feel like even still, it's a sensitive subject. Like, you know how heavy your heart may feel when it's coming up on the anniversary of someone passing that you may know or affiliate with or whatever. I guess you can apply a very similar logic to when you have stuff weighing on your heart that you really ain't able to release because it may be something that gets you into a situation. That same kind of emotional trigger, if you will. I got to see Woody in a very humanized light this last week. You know, I always seen the DA continue to paint him as, you know, you're just lying. You're lying because you're afraid of them. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth like you did back in 2015. Why are you lying now? And I think when they assumed in that ex parte that the defense was going to come in and hammer him and just completely disrespect him, obliterate him, and take him apart piece by piece, what we got to see in that moment is the defense kind of empathize with the situation and say, we understand you had every reason to do this. You didn't have an attorney. You know, you didn't know how the system worked. You just knew you was getting locked up. They was picking you up and they was taking you to jail. They was locking you in the mental ward. You were having all these experiences. These experiences, if nothing else, these experiences are going to settle with you. They're going to stick with you. We understand that, you know, they was treating you like you weren't even humane. We understand that you know, you didn't even have somebody that was willing to represent you the right way. Just someone who felt obligated to represent you and may or may not have been doing a good job. We understand your motivation for doing what you did. And we understand that you're now saying that you got to get that off your conscience and make it right. You know, like you have to be. We understand that you say you're doing this for you, not because of the DA, not because of us. I mean, you don't want to be bothered. You hate the fact that we're bothering you right now, but you are doing what you're doing right now because you can't have this on your conscience no more. You don't have the fact that you lied. And I'm not gonna cap, guys. That icing on that cake was yesterday when Steele played them jail calls from 2022 and 2023. He hadn't had no communication with nobody from the fence, nobody but the DA. Nobody but the DA was communicating with him and telling him, we want you to testify. And every time he said, look, I lied, he like, they get up and leave the room. They just leave because I wasn't saying what they wanted to hear. What they want to hear is, okay, I'll tell the story just like I did back then. But his problem was he couldn't remember his stories. He couldn't even sit down with them and have that conversation in our reality because he couldn't remember what he had said. And they weren't bringing to him what he had said. They weren't bringing him no videos, no jail calls, no nothing. Just saying, I need you to say this again. Just say it like you said it in 2015. You remember what you said in 2015, right? And he's like, no. He was literally making up people. Entire people that the officer said on the video calls, we don't know who you're talking about. We don't know them. They're like, yeah, you know them? They're like, no, we don't know them. We're like, yeah, you do. You know them from over there, around the way. Man, that was some telling testimony. For real. And what's crazy is they didn't want to go with any other thought process. They weren't even willing to accept. When I say that, I'm saying the DA wasn't even willing to accept that this man could have potentially been making some stuff up. Excuse me. They said what you said to us then had to have been right. And what you saying now is wrong. And since you don't want to play ball with us, yeah, we holding you on this probation violation. You know, I think his chick was a deputy of some sort or whatever. So the the gun charge they kept trying to give him, I think it was, it may have, don't quote me, but it may have been potentially. Mm, I'm not going to even say that because I don't know and I don't want to get it wrong. But his chick was a deputy, and or a chick he was talking to was a deputy, and they're people, you know, they're people. Um, but you know, he got jammed up again. So he first thing he said was, "Let me try to do." Oh, I don't know why I keep yawning. Let me try to do what I did before, and let's see if it works. And so he tried it, and like they did before, they locked his behind up again. And when they sent him to another county, because they didn't want to make it convenient for him, you know, they made sure that it would be harder for his people to come see him and talk to him and all that stuff. And then they decided to make sure you missed his court dates, and then keep pushing his court dates back every time he misses one. He's in jail. The only way to a court date is for them to take him. He cannot get out of custody, go to a family member take him to jail, to court. That's not how this works. He's in Fayette County, which is miles away from Fulton County, and they're supposed to transport him to Fulton County to go to court, and they're not. And then what happens is he doesn't go to court, and then the DA pops up a few days later like, oh yeah. And he's like, well, I missed my court date. What's going on? Why ain't nobody taking me? They're like, oh, well, we can help you with that. We can help get you to court. But you gotta be willing to testify for us. You down? And he's like, well, I lied. I wouldn't tell the truth then. Like, you didn't take me to court then. You can't take me to court now and expect me to get on the stand where I'm saying I gotta tell the God honest truth and want me to just tell a whole bunch of lies. And I don't even know what lies I told. They're like, it doesn't matter. Just go and agree with everything that we say. And you'll be straight. And you'll get out. And we'll give you a year probation. And that's it. Let's do it. And he's like, no, I can't do that. And I think a part of him was super skeptical because last time they was going to treat him good. And he ended up doing, 51 months off a 60-month bid. And maybe some of his time in the Fulton County Jail counted as good time and went towards that. And then got out and made him do another 13 months or 14 months or something like that after he got out for that PV in 2021, 2022. Maybe it was 2021. Like, they were making his situation work for him. And then, he has some pending charges that they decided, where I'm from, they use the term WAP a lot. WAP charges, meaning they don't try you for them right now, but that at any point in time, they can bring them back up later. So, where I'm from, it's called a WAP charge. And it's very similar, but they call it something different. But, prosecutorial discretion. They're not going to prosecute you right now because we need you to testify how we need you to testify. I put $1,000 on it right now if them charges come back up within the next year for him, for sure. Probably within the next 6 months that they try to get him. Hopefully Melnick will be done with whatever he got going on by then, but I put money on it. And you know what would be the kicker to all of that really set it off? He got to go before Glanville. That would be very interesting. I hope Miss Sylvia, um, infamous Sylvia, does a follow up into that and keeps contact with him so she can keep us all abreast. All these terms that I'm using now, to what's going on. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that's going to happen again. You know, the state released Woody to Brian Steele, very aggravated and emotional. And any of us get really emotional when we talk about our kids, when we're talking about our babies. Because I think Seti Nash said it the best. When some stuff pop off with your kids, that kind of takes the what's happening to another level. It makes it different when your kids are involved, when your kids are involved. And I think anytime you hear Woody talking about the shooting with his baby, he's extremely emotional. He gets very easily agitated with that. And at the end of the day, he a daddy. If nothing else, that man is a daddy. I mean, I don't agree with how he's done what he's done, but when that man said that all I could do was try to protect my family with every piece of me, I felt that. Like, with everything, I felt that. That gave me, like, a tingling sensation in my spine because I know what that feels like. Um, and that was kind of the beginning of seeing him in a different light. And then I felt like when the defense seen that, like, okay, this is kind of similar to how they're doing our clients right now. They're doing our clients the same exact way. And this man didn't even have an attorney at the time. And made it different. It's like, okay, this is not just a young buck out here just doing whatever. Maybe he did feel like his back was up against the wall. And I will say it's a very real difference between how different races react to different things. And when I say races, I do absolutely mean black, white, Mexican, Asian, Hispanic, all that. I mean races. It's one thing when you feel like you got to fight for survival. It's something totally different when you feel like the law is there to protect your rights. And most people of my complexion don't feel like the law is there to protect our rights. We feel like we have to protect our rights. And sometimes that means by any means necessary. And sometimes that may be cross purposes with another person. It's not always right. It's not always okay. Most of the time it's not. But it wasn't called snitching until we called it that, you know. And they called tattletelling or whatever you want to, but it wasn't called snitching until we started calling it that. It wasn't looked at negatively until we started talking about it. The last few days of court has just been very interesting. Very interesting. And you know what? Very quiet. Aside really from whoever is on at that podium talking to Woody, everybody else is listening attentively. And I've been on Infamous Sylvia's channel. I've listened to SETI. I've listened to I'm Not a Lawyer, but I've been watching in Cat's Chat. I popped to Fox 5 and 11 Alive. And one thing I could say is when the last 3 days of court, everybody's eyes has been on Woody's podium, paying very close attention to what's being said. It ain't nobody really sleeping in the courtroom. It ain't nobody just over there snacking it. I mean, everybody is paying attention to what just happened. And I don't know the next few witnesses that are YSL that are coming up. I don't know what they were told or what they were guaranteed, but I'm very sure, I'm almost certain that they probably got similar situations to Woody, where they probably kind of got thrown under the bus by the state a little bit. But maybe seeing this has given them a little bit of hope that, I know I said, when everybody checks that box and they say, is YSL a gang? YSL a gang? And they check mark that box that says yes and initial it. And they say, well, they have the opportunity to go in and change anything that's not correct. Just like Woody's, I can't think of the word I want to say now. Just like his immunity deal said that he could say everything else, but they plea deals more than likely got it. They can adjust everything else, but can't adjust what emojis y'all use. You can add to it, can't take away. And I'm more than certain they can't say, they can't X out that box that says YSL is a gang and say YSL is a record label. I'm a part of something different. I'm a part of two things at once. I'm a part of a street group and I'm a part of a record label that have nothing to do with one another. They're completely different, even though you're trying to tie them together. I could bet my damn mortgage they are not saying that. I bet my mortgage that they are not allowing these defendants to go in there and say, but it's not a gang though. That's wrong. Can we write something different? No difference than Tick saying or Trontavia Stevens saying, you gave me a day to review this whole plea agreement, this whole 20-page document, however long it was. It may have been 7, I don't know. And try to understand the language in there when I have a 6th grade education. And you're writing all this language in here and I don't understand what it says. But you basically give it to me, tell me to review it, and then I go over it with my attorney the same day that I'm supposed to sign it. I want to hear one person come in there and said that the DA let them mark off YSL as a gang and still granted their plea agreement. I will shut the hell up. But we know that ain't happening. We know that ain't happening. So, share, like, subscribe. It's not too much of a rant because you know what? I'm not gonna lie, my conscience is real heavy right now, and I feel like there was so much that came out over the last few days, and even within myself trying to pray and internalize it, or not internalize it. Like, share, subscribe. I am excited. I now have 51 members, and I haven't even been doing this a month, and I hope that we will continue to grow. Again, I've talked to my teenagers. They want to be involved. They know a little bit about these rappers. I consider my generation, but they're like the beginning of their generation. But they're like, Mom, this is kind of cool. We want to get involved too, and I want them to be involved. But I don't know. Just watching it weighed heavy on my heart, and I had to just talk about it. And I appreciate so much that you guys are accepting me into your community and allowing me to just express my views and my feelings and my complaints and my thoughts, and just I appreciate all the love. I appreciate Kat shouting me out. I appreciate those of you that go in and comment on my rants, but this is what I was doing in my car before I started recording it. So I just appreciate you guys so much, and I thank you for again allowing me to just be expressive. And yeah, hopefully these boys, I'm not saying that they're all good or they're all bad, but I am saying right is right and wrong is wrong, and it starts at the top and it has to trickle down, and we have to See something, say something. If we don't say anything when we see something, then it will keep happening. And you never know when it's going to be your family member or my family member or whomever. So I think you guys have been amazing at just becoming a part of this world that may have not started with us, but hopefully it'll end with us, and making it easier for the next generation. I think this is deeper than just being about, YouTube or just the YSL trial. It's deeper than that. And at least for this segment of what I'm doing is deeper than that. But again, thank you so much for embracing me and allowing me to share with you guys. I appreciate it. And until the next one, peace and love, peoples, for my car rants.